Hi, everybody. I'm here today with the team at Vapor.io to talk about what's new in edge services and something that's just coming out that's going to be called Zero Gap AI. So let's kick it off. Cole, welcome and tell us about this new Zero Gap AI.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And we think this is pretty stratospheric. Zero Gap was largely built to sort of bridge the complexities of deploying, both the wireless stack as well as the AI stack that you'd otherwise have to figure out yourself if you were to run this on premise. So we'll be offering this capability in combination with Supermicro, leveraging the Grace Hopper super chip and the Nvidia MGX platform as an end-to-end solution as a service, which is, I think, a pretty big deal.
Okay, before we jump into more of the nuts and bolts of that, Matt, could you tell us about, where does this fit in the market?
Uh, yeah, the way to think about this, Jim, is it's AI delivered via a network. And unlike the cloud, right, this network is so fast and so close to you, it's as if you're on your premises. So if you think about today, an enterprise that's wanting to get into AI and is either looking to start their journey on premises or expand their journey, what are they going to do? Build a new data center, go buy $1 million worth of super micro servers and hire the people to run them, or get it as a service delivered through a network. And that's the opportunity that we've identified, is delivering artificial intelligence through a network at that's completely private,
Mhm.
and it's for all intents and purposes it's if it's on your premises where you collect the data and analyze
With
it.
So
the with the
is this a different service than what can be found already on the edges of the hyperscale clouds, their edge services?
Completely different.
yeah we
Yeah, this
Go ahead,
is
Matt.
so the difference is we occupy the space between, say, the regional IX, which is sometimes hundreds or thousands of miles away from the city, the center of the city, and from the customer's premises. So we're in that what we call the middle mile. Nobody else is there really, not with anything like this. And what's unique about that is you're not relying on multiple network hops and internet routing and all this other things for your data to get somewhere and then come back. It's right there. And that's everything from passing a video stream onto an inferencing engine, or for two different entities, two different machines in the same city communicating with each other. I mean, the only way to do that over is really, really short fiber runs and with very few hops.
Okay. And now back to you, Cole, about the nuts and bolts of this. You mentioned a couple of partner companies there, but what is everybody providing, yourselves included?
Great, it's a great question. And it starts with the foundational network that Matt just mentioned, right? We've had this. You've briefed us before on the kinetic grid, right? So we've spent several years and an incredible amount of money to build what we think is one of the most performant backbones in the U.S., especially as you think about, like, how does my traffic not just go across town, but how does it go across country in a ubiquitous way? And that's the first fundamental pillar of this. The second, of course, are the data centers that we've deployed around the United States. So we've talked about the 36 markets that Vapor's been building for a long time. Those are now coming online as these AI access points, as we call them. And we clearly know how to run networks, and we clearly know how to run data centers. Now moving up into the infrastructure as a service component, adding on this super micro capability as well as the Nvidia capability, it's a challenge today for a lot of folks to get their hands on GPUs. I was looking at eBay just a few hours ago. An H100 is hanging out somewhere around $45,000-$50,000 for a used
Wow.
H100. So, when you are facing kind of the incredible demands of what NVIDIA is seeing today through the supply chain and manufacturing of these GPUs, if you can't get it as a product, the next best thing, and in fact, in some ways, the first best thing is to get it as a service. Certainly, cloud has proved that part out. So, Supermicro has partnered with us to make these GPUs available as a product through the Nvidia MGX architecture.
Okay, and what kind of LLMs I assume there's local LLMs that would be running on this.
Whatever the customer wants to run, whatever the customer wants
That's
to
right.
run.
And actually, we think of this. We often say, Jim, generative AI is what costs you money. Inferencing is what makes you money. And this is really more of an inferencing play than a training play. And instead of, I mean, LLMs are all well and good, and we're happy to participate in any way that a customer would want to use GPUs for a large language model or generative AI. But we actually think an early use case would be things like LVMs or large vision models. I think computer vision is going to be a really incredible use case for this, and we're already seeing that play out in a number of industries and across verticals for different purposes. Some education based, some entertainment based, some security based. Um, so that's really how I sort of think about it. But Matt's exactly right. Whatever you need with regard to a GPU, whether that's rendering or training or asynchronous redeployment, we will be there. Again, zero gaps, meaning we'll help you figure it out.
Okay, and is this a fractional ownership type model, or your customers would be
No, it's
buying it
literally as a service.
as a service?
It's like a cloud service or a
It's a
bare metal
straight up
service.
Okay,
multi-tenant, cloud neutral, enterprise neutral, telco neutral, network opinionated, um, as a service offering.
okay, and to get back to the hyper local aspect of it, I guess you are going to be making a claim here or a play on the latency. That's why this makes sense as a
Oh, well,
local.
latency is just a part of it. Latency is just part of it, right? Part of it's just data sovereignty, right? I mean, if you're a law enforcement organization and you're using the zero gap network to process your videos and store them, you're not going to let those leave the county, right? And so you need local data, local inferencing for things just for compliance reasons. Medical, same thing. You're not going to want to send those off if you don't have to. And lots of enterprises feel the same way. Manufacturers are really, really uncomfortable sending their operational data to the cloud. And then to your point about latency, yeah, the cloud's just too far away. You just can't deliver certain services. So imagine an intersection with cameras that are all trying to figure out where the pedestrians are and the cars are. So you got sensor fusion. You have 4 video feeds that are all feeding into an analysis, and there may be chains of analysis. There may be 2 or 3, an inferencing that feeds an inference that feeds an inference. And the only way you can have that happen in enough time to prevent a fatality is to do it in sub 1 millisecond, or close to that, right? You have to get very close. And with the cloud, not only is it often much higher, tens or hundreds of milliseconds, it's not predictable. That's one of the biggest challenges. So you may have an average, even have an average of 5 milliseconds. You may have a tail latency that's 80 milliseconds or 180 milliseconds, and then a pedestrian died.
That's right.
And that's
as
just
soon as
not
you
acceptable.
add in, Jim, the complexities and the latency challenges at the wireless layer, front haul requires microseconds, not milliseconds, and that's straight up speed of light issues that you've got to deal with. And certainly, we think we've got the footprint to solve for that. We certainly believe with the power of Nvidia and SuperMicro behind this, that MGX platform, I think, one of the more underappreciated capabilities that this is going to provide for is you're going to be able to run the radio access network at the capacity that it needs to run at on these AI chips. And then when that radio access network is not as busy as it otherwise would be, maybe at 8 a.m. or at 5 p.m. The drive home or the drive to work, you can be running inferencing on those chips. So that kind of dual purpose capability, but that's not even a possibility if you're not within sort of that 100 microsecond front haul of the wireless network that's delivering the radio access network. And that's just, you get your 5G network and you get your inferencing all in the same cloud, and that's really powerful.
Okay, one last question here, and that is on the network side of things. So are you guys partnering with network providers to do this, or you were talking about the radio access network. Who's delivering that
This
component?
is the key to the whole offering, right? As Matt said, this is network delivered AI. And what that means is there was half a decade longer of work that went into zoning, permitting, right of way, right? Easements, setbacks that Vapor had to build across not one, not two, not three, but more than 5 or 6 dark fiber providers in order to build this sort of cohesive, layer 2 capability that then, you put all the software that we've been working on for years, and now all of a sudden our customers get to run private L2 networks over layer 3. And this becomes something where if you are the city of Las Vegas, who's been very vocal about working with us, now you get to choose exactly, like down to the building, where you want your routes terminated. And not only can we do that in Vegas, but we can do that across Vegas and 3 other opinionated cities, or the entire 36 market grid that we operate.
All right, fantastic. I know I said, last question, and then I always come up with one more. So that's going to be deliverables for this. I mean, Cole, were talking about looking on eBay for um, those GPUs. How
Well,
are
he
you
wasn't
guys
looking
looking
at,
at?
on eBay for us to buy
Okay,
them.
all right, yeah, I
No,
got
our
it.
supply chain is
Yeah,
is SuperMicro and Nvidia.
I got it.
I don't think they have we're not going to have a
but
problem
that's kind of the
getting
point,
the
right?
chips
That,
for the
All right. So
servers.
when are you rolling? When are you rolling?
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
there's
Thursday.
Thursday.
yeah, there's
It's
infrastructure being
available.
All
deployed
right.
in cities right now.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thanks for updating me on this. Really appreciate it, and good
Hey,
luck with the
thanks, Jim.
service.
Thank you, Jim.
In today's fast-paced business world, staying connected is essential. But what if your campus and branch network infrastructure was designed in the pre-cloud era? What if maintaining your aging equipment across a distributed workforce has become difficult and costly? Upgrading your connectivity infrastructure to a cloud-based NAS solution may be the answer. Campus NAS vendors are promising faster scalability, cost efficiency, enhanced security, ubiquitous access, and streamlined management. But what does the business case for Campus NAS look like? Who are the key players in this niche? What assortment of services are available from these providers? And who stands to gain the most from NAS solutions? Moreover, how can organizations devise, test, and implement a migration strategy effectively? We invite you to join our Campus NAS 2024 showcase, where we will delve into these questions and more.